Now, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for the head of Myanmar's military. General Min Aung Hlaing is accused of committing crimes against humanity in the persecution of Myanmar's largely Muslim Rohingya minority. Nearly 1 million Rohingya were forced to escape to neighbouring Bangladesh after a widespread military crackdown that UN officials called a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. Kharim Khan made the announcement during a visit to a Rohingya refugee camp in Bangladesh.
Today we have an important announcement. For the first time in the situation of Myanmar and Bangladesh, my office is submitting applications to the judges of the pre-trial chamber. And this first application is for Min Aung Hlaing, the acting president of Myanmar and the head of the defence services of Myanmar.
Well, the crisis in Myanmar has deep historical roots. In the 1970s, Myanmar's government began calling the Rohingya illegal immigrants from Bangladesh, ignoring evidence of their deep ties in the country. Then, in 1982, a citizenship law came into effect which stripped the Rohingya of their rights, leaving them essentially stateless. Then, throughout the 1990s, the Rohingya faced further restrictions on their movement, marriage, family planning and arrests. A 2012 dispute between Buddhists and Muslims in the western Rakhine state forced more than 140,000 Rohingya into makeshift camps. And in 2017, Myanmar's military launched a bloody crackdown, forcing more than 700,000 Rohingya to flee to Bangladesh. Many reported mass killings, rape and the destruction of their villages. Tirana Hassan is the Executive Director of Human Rights Watch. She joins us now live from New York. So, Tirana, we've had a 5-year-long investigation into Min Aung Hlaing. What is the significance of this application now for his arrest warrant?
This is a major step forward for justice for the country's Rohingya population who have, been suffering under this regime, but even before that, as you mentioned in your reporting. But what we've seen today, this is an opportunity to open the door to seek accountability, specifically for the atrocities that were committed in 2016 and 2017. It's going to be a significant moment because we are eroding the impunity that has been fueling the military's ongoing abuses in the current conflict, because Myanmar essentially has been in steady decline since 2017. And it's the Commander-in-Chief, Min Aung Hlaing, who has been dealt complete impunity. He went on to stop the clearance operations against the Rohingya, but he's essentially moved on then to a full-blown coup in the country, removing the civilian government. And this, after the coup and the violence that has transpired, has killed thousands of people across the entire country. So it sends a message. The military is not above the law.
It's a message, but does it actually end his sense of impunity? Because he's still a long way from actually being arrested. I mean, he still hasn't got an actual arrest warrant, and he still indeed hasn't been arrested and brought to trial.
These are important signals because when we talk about impunity, we are really just saying that messages are being sent by the international community, by allies, by institutions that we rely on to protect our fundamental rights. They're sending a message to perpetrators and alleged perpetrators like Min Aung Hlaing that nothing you do will have any consequence. And the killing of civilians, crimes against humanity, forcible transfer of a population, they do have consequences. There is no one that is above the law, whether you have imposed yourself to being the head of state or whether you are the commander-in-chief. As a matter of fact, this sends the important message that as the commander-in-chief of the military, Min Aung Hlaing is going to be responsible for the actions that were taken by the military units who have been implicated. And there are reams of evidence to show that the Myanmar military, including the police forces, the army and the border patrol, were involved in attacking Rohingya civilians in their villages in 2016
I just want to jump in there, Tirana, because I'm wondering about the consequences for the Rohingya. Of course, there are 1 million people refugees in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh. The conditions still aren't right for them to return home because they're not only persecuted by the military, but now also seemingly by the Arakan army, which is fighting the military for control of the Rakhine state. So is this in any way going to improve the life of the Rohingya?
I mean, there are many steps that need to be taken to protect the Rohingya population. When Human Rights Watch has been speaking to the Rohingya who have been displaced in Bangladesh, what they want to do is have safe conditions for return. And those safe conditions for return include ending the discrimination, allowing them their citizenship rights and to be recognised as citizens, to end the systematic discrimination that Human Rights Watch has found actually amounts to the crime against humanity of apartheid. And the Rohingya population want to return home to be safe. That includes being able to be safe in Rakhine and free from not only military persecution, the state laws and systems and policies that exist that discriminate against them, but also protection from the Arakan army.
OK, Tirana Hassan, it's great to speak to you. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us there from New York. That's Tirana Hassan, Executive Director of Human Rights Watch.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.